Well, here I am, Periscopians. I'm at the... I should tell you where I'm at. My wife keeps telling me, stop telling people where you're at. I'm going to get my room at the hotel again. And Roy Fields, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Periscopian universe. Yay!
What's up, man? Hey.
So Roy just invited me down. I just came in from Tel Aviv last night and flew in here to an undisclosed location in Orlando. And Roy was so kind to invite me to do a broadcast. But when will that air, by the way? So
it's probably going to air in the next couple of weeks because I got to get it out before the elections, obviously.
So he's got a great TV show and program, and they can see that where?
It's on Christian Television Network. It's also will be on the ISN network, which is Sid Ross's Supernatural Network, and then of course it's at runwithfire.tv where you can watch the extended version.
The extended version is better, I think, because half of the first version I was just giving my testimony, which isn't really what we need to know in the next 20 days. Now let's talk for a second about, now this, of course, you're free to have your opinion. This is my format, so I don't want to put you in an awkward. I don't want to put you in an awkward position here.
That's fine.
I mean, I'm outspoken about my view of Mr. Trump and what's going on in America, but we could see that you sense that there is a real warfare over this election, don't you?
You know what? We were actually filming today in the studio, and for the first time ever in all the interviews we've done, if you followed anything we've done, the equipment started breaking down and shutting down. and Lance, you said, well, this happens all the time to me.
I don't want to confess it, but it happens.
Well, because it's this, I'm not trying to be spooky about it, but it is a spiritual thing. And I find every time the subject comes up, there's great animosity. There's great, spiritual warfare.
There's a lot of... And you know what's funny? We were dealing with media mind control. And this is hilarious.
That's what we were talking about.
I'm talking about there's some spirit of media mind control trying to take over American minds. It's witchcraft and bink.
It's a periscopian disease.
We're running into some problems. You're right. That is nutty that happened right now.
But yeah, we were talking about the Trump elections and everything, and I was introducing Lance, as he's doing now with me. I was introducing Lance to our viewers, and it's crazy what is going on with this thing. You know, I was watching the debate. You were in Israel 3 days ago, and here I've been watching this guy. You guys, right now you're watching, but I've been watching this guy on Facebook for a few months now, and everything you've been talking about, I'd say probably 99% of what you've been saying, close to 100 in my opinion, is just resonated with me. And I'm like, somebody's saying it. Why are us Christians so afraid to step out and do something and risk some reputation, risk some things to stand up for God? I just don't get it. But you're doing it, and it's really encouraging to me, man. It really is.
Well, and you know, and I want to share with you guys something interesting. And I just shared it on a conference call, but I don't think I told you on Periscope yet. When we were in Israel, I'm always worried about whether I should share stuff or not, because my wife says, I'm like Columbo with the wife. It's like my wife says, don't say that. But
go ahead and spit it out.
Oh, I'm going to spit it out here. You know, my wife. One more thing. So my wife says, don't share. I think I could share this. While I was in Israel, I was scheduled to go on a tour, an expedition out to an undisclosed location. But that location was actually on the West Bank. And it was the West Bank, Palestinian occupied. I wanted to go to Jezebel's and Ahab's throne, where they administrated from. Do you know that the throne of Jezebel and Ahab is in the West Bank, and it is occupied in Samaria? And it was the place where Herod judged John the Baptist, and they even have a cave where they believe John the Baptist was held prisoner before he was beheaded for getting involved with political matters. What? So anyway, the interesting thing is, these Amish guys that I'm with, who are Holy Ghost Amish guys, they went and prayed at the location. And they prayed that the Lord, and they repented for the sins of America, and then they prayed that the connection of Jezebel with the electoral system, with politics, influence over Trump and Hillary, would be broken. And they took authority over the spirit of Jezebel and the connection with the American politics. And you know what happened? What happened is interesting. That was the day when the second debate happened. And as a result, I believe in that second debate, we had a breakthrough, or there was certainly a change that was beginning to take place in the devastation of what Trump was dealing with his own 10-year-old video exposure. So here's how we're praying. We're praying. Roy, this is so great. Roy is setting this up because he's like a genius with media stuff. In his house, we were filming today. It's like amazing.
I didn't want to distract from what you're saying.
No, but it's like I'm watching him now. Now my hands are free. You notice my hands are free?
Well,
because
I was gonna have to pray for carpal tunnel and try to attack him. He's sitting there holding this thing. But go ahead. I'm listening.
All right. We're gonna agree right now. We're gonna pray that the Lord will expose what needs to be exposed.
Yeah.
Not only that the devil exposes what he wants to expose, but that God exposes what he wants to expose.
Amen to that.
And we've got anything can happen within the next 20-some days. Get a hold of the book, godschaoscandidate.com. There's only like 500 or 600 of you guys who've got it so far. Get the book, because in chapter 1 I talk about the crucible, the fourth crucible coming to America, and why it is that in this season particularly, everything's at stake for what happens in America, what happens globally if America goes down. So you want to get godschaoscandidate.com is the website. Go to Amazon, just get the book, grab it. And I pray for a move of God that's going to happen, either a vanguard move with Trump coming into office, or a rear guard move, which is going to be the church having to rise up and do what it should have been doing all along, and engage in culture. But you're a young revivalist, and yet you're at that age of 40, which is the age of an elder in Israel. So you're actually at the point where elders were put in charge of Israel at your age.
November 15th.
On November 15th?
I'll be 40.
Well, you're on your way. You're heading towards your prime year. So what do you see in terms of revival for America in the future? Do you really believe there's something coming that you haven't seen yet? Kind of similar to what with Lakeland as a preview?
I do, but let me say something about revival. Everybody has their own definition of revival. First of all, you can't even find the word revival in the Bible. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, you can't find the word. I think in Ezekiel is as close as you get about reviving the bones and flesh and all this. But the word Bible is not in the Bible.
Okay.
Okay. So everybody has their own definition. In my heart, what I've seen, I've been a part of a move of God. I also was there receiving from a move of God. Every revival has this. It's not even for the lost. Revival is to wake the church back up, to get back to task.
Oh, okay.
That's what revival is for. It's not even for the lost. Revival is for the church. They forget what they're supposed to do in the first place. So they get back with that encounter with God. And it's not just a great worship service. It's not just a great sermon or even the altar coming down and filling up. What it is you come back to yourself and to God and say, okay, you know what? This was all about you in the beginning. And then it solidifies, or maybe that's not a good word, but it enhances your foundation that you already have.
Right.
You can't bring the lost in and raise somebody back from the dead that's never known what it's like to be alive in the first place.
Okay.
Or the church.
Right.
So we go out and bring the message. The problem is that we're all afraid to step across. I'm not going to say we all, but a majority of the church are afraid to do things. You know, in Lakeland, and I don't want to talk about Lakeland all day, but in Lakeland, you know, we were doing things that nobody else was doing. We were having long worship services for 2.5 hours most nights.
Right.
We had 82-year-olds shouting and screaming with their hands up like they're in a rock concert, but they were doing warfare with the devil in their own life and getting set free from all kinds of things.
Right.
What I see coming with this election is, no matter which way it goes, I tend to think it's gonna head towards Trump as being the president. Okay, and now I want you to know something. This is the first time I've ever said this publicly.
Wow.
Never said this publicly. So you're seeing this for the first time. Because I've always been told, I've been advised by people that are close to me, don't get involved with some of that. You just stick to your call. But here's what I'm going to say.
That's true.
But here's what I'm going to say.
I don't want to get you in trouble.
No, but here's what I'm going to say. People forget, and we were talking about this earlier.
I'm going to hold this and get you like.
I'm okay. I'm in it. I'm in the shot.
You sure?
Yeah,
Let's
I'm in
go.
the shot.
Oh, words. Look, hold it, people. Help. Wait a second. All right, there we go. I want to, because the words are coming up on top of you here.
I want to make sure my breath smells good. I want you people falling out and thinking it's the power of God. You know what I mean? Anyway, the point is you and I were talking earlier about the fact that George Whitefield,
right,
was helped by Benjamin Franklin. Benjamin Franklin offered him places to preach because the church wouldn't have them.
Right.
Remember that?
Yes.
We're back at that place again. That's what I believe revival is supposed to do. It's supposed to not only just change the church, it's supposed to go from the church out to the culture. So I do see.
Can you see why I like this guy? Can you see, people? Periscopians. This is one of the tribe right there.
Well, I'm still hungry for God. I still love God. I still am seeing. Well, here's what I'm not seeing. I don't see a lot of people with a lot of chutzpah, nerve,
Right.
backbone, not afraid to step out and lose a reputation.
Right.
You know, we were in Lakeland. We were very controversial. I've got long hair. I scream in a mic. I had a cracked tooth. I'm pitchy. I'm not like even somebody from 2 major labels came they were going to sign me, and they said, he's not really marketable, is he? Yeah, they said that. They said, I'm not really marketable. And I thought, well, praise the Lord. You know, I walked away and my feelings were hurt a little bit. And then I went to the Lord and I said, Lord, what are you doing? And he said, I didn't call you to be marketable. I called you to do what I called you to do. It was never popular, ever, to be a minister of the gospel. You're supposed to rub people the wrong way.
Right.
Jesus is an offense to people. We want to see people saved, but unfortunately, people want to go out and win the lost. And here's what I say. Hey, can we get the church saved first? Can we please clean some fish before, let's clean our own fish before we go catch more. Because we're putting out all this stuff and nothing's happening. And that's why people are so scared to, oh my gosh, Donald Trump and all this kind of stuff. Come on. We've got to make a stand. And I'm 40 years old. And my generation, I was talking about this earlier too, my generation is disrespecting your generation. Mm-hmm. Let's just put it out there. My generation is disrespecting your generation. And we're going to be real candid. Why not? You're candid.
Mm-hmm.
We're saying that, I'm not saying this, but my generation is saying, oh, you guys are old school. You're just doing the old stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, if we don't honor the people that paved the way for us, don't expect any honor when you get to their place, because it won't be there. God doesn't operate that way. And a young generation has got to line up with the older generation. And the older generation has to make room for these young folks to come up. There has to be a coming together. And if it doesn't happen, we're gonna be here 25, 35, 55 years later talking about the same thing, the whole Saul and David situation.
Right.
I think this election, what is going to happen is, I believe there's going to be a revival that sparks. But I think people, no matter what happens, should already be going that direction.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And guys, this is important. Let's get the message out. So you guys got to swipe to the left or right or up or down. Share this. Sandy, thanks for sharing it. Just get the message out there. And by the way, I'm in Orlando. Deborah, thank you. Robbins for sharing it. Okay. Cindy. Gross, there we go. Bradley. Statler. Michael Frazier. Come on. Sylvia Sulin. Janet 37. Blonde girls? Okay. E.A. Johnson. Cranes. Yay, 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 yay. You guys are doing it. Thank you. By the way, if you're in Orlando, I want you to get out to this meeting I'm doing. I'm doing a business meeting with some of the greatest financial guys. Look at these guys sharing. Thank you. Alma, Orlando. That's great. Christina PK. Patricia Five-Martin. Woo-woo. This is a viral group. Look how cool they are. You guys are the best. Periscopians are the best. Now, where am I going to be? I'm here I don't know where I'm going to be speaking, but I know I'm in Orlando speaking somewhere. So check out charissummit.com, CHARIS summit.com. It's Andrew Womack's ministry. Great guy. charissummit.com.
Amazing guy.
And it's a cool business conference where it's going to be like, this is for the entrepreneurial testosterone injection of the century with Billy Epperhart and Paul and just the guys that are in this thing. They're all the real deal, like Andrew's ministry, just raw, real deal. So anyway, charissummit.com. Is that it? Charis Summit? Or is it Charis Summit 2016?
I'm looking it up right now.
I don't
Charis
know.
Business Summit.
Charis Business Summit?
Yeah, here it is. Charis Business Summit.
CharisBusinessSummit.com?
No, they can go to awmi.net.
awmi.net and check it out.
Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. CharisBusinessSummit.com. There
Oh,
you go.
cool.
Check this out.
Charis Business Summit.
We'll do a little pro presenter here right quick.
Oh, look at that. It's like it's a Vulcan mind meld between phones. Okay.
We just went into, what's that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah. Oh, the
The dream of the Inception.
We just went into the Inception. Yeah, everybody fall backwards. Whoa. Okay, guys. I love you. Swipe. Share by swiping left or right, and then post. Someone said, Roy is an amazing worship leader. Thank you, Roy. I'm reading this. How many guys know about Roy? A lot of guys are excited about me coming out and talking to Roy.
Oh, bless you guys.
Yes, perfect. I love you guys too. Now, stay faithful, stay strong. You want to hear from Roy in the future, right? They love your worship, man. I'm getting a lot of big responses
Thanks,
here.
man.
He's a great interviewer too. He's got a lot to say. Now look at this, love Roy. I'll tell you what.
Aw,
it's
thanks,
a
guys.
it's a love fest, a schmooze fest. It's a schmooze fest. All right, we'll be doing some more stuff with Roy. Love you. Bye bye.